Hi, if you're looking to track tender contracts for a business and you're looking for a dashboard setup in Notion, then this video is for you. In this video, we're going to discuss how we can create a tender contract dashboard that you can see right over here. And alongside this, we're also going to see how we are able to generate PDF files on automation whenever we are going to add a new contract to the database. So whenever you will add a new contract over here in the database, it will automatically create a PDF file and it will save the PDF file right inside this Notion database. So we'll also understand how we will set up this automation for our requirement. As you can see, I have created a simple tender contract dashboard which shows the total number of contracts, the contract value, the active contracts in progress. These are the three key KPI indicators that I have added over here. And alongside this, you can see we have this contracts database created at the bottom, which has the project details, the vendor details, start date, end date, and all the other information that you typically need in a contract dashboard. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to see how this will exactly work out and how this will exactly perform. So here the total contract value of all the contracts is $8945, which is showing over here. And if I change any of this contract value, it will automatically update and it will reflect in the dashboard on the top. Okay. If you put any other status contract as in progress, it will also show under active contracts. Okay. So these are the flexibilities that this particular dashboard provides. If you go to the status tab, you can see all the status of the particular contract and what are the values of the contract, the start date of the contract. If you click on anything and drag it and drop it anywhere, it will automatically change the status as per the required status that you mark it. Next, jump to the vendor section. Under the vendor section, we have two different status: shortlisted vendors and the status of the vendors which have won. So if you go to the vendors, we have created a different vendor database. We also have created different project database. So we have linked the vendors and the projects in a relation property right inside this contract database. So this is the property where it is linked to the contracts database, and for the vendors it is linked to the vendors database, and we are connected both the things right inside this main contract database. Okay. So what we have also seen over here is under the vendors, we can see different status of being shortlisted and all the vendors which have won the contracts. Okay, these are the bid amounts and these are the contact persons whom we're going to contact for the vendors. And finally, we have a timeline where we can see when the project will take place. So this is like from March 9 to May 13, and this particular contract has a different timeline. So you should be able to see all the different things that is associated for a particular contract and the timelines associated to that as well. Okay, this is a quick dashboard view which we have set up. If you want to add or make any changes, this is obviously customizable as per the needs and requirements, but this is a sample dashboard that I have created. Okay, so we are mainly using this contract database. We are also using the project database and the vendor database in our setup. Okay, now let us understand how we are going to add PDF files onto this database, and directly from the database we will be able to generate the PDF files completely in automation. For this, we'll be using a tool known as PDFOutput. This is the automation tool that I have created, and we'll be setting up the automation inside this tool to create the PDF file. So simply once you log in, click on Setup Automation. In your case, Notion will not be connected, so we'll be connecting this Notion databases that we have, and we'll also need a document which will be serving as the contract template file that will help us create a PDF. So here you will be able to see Connect Notion, so we can click on that. Otherwise, you can click on Reconnect, and you should be able to connect the particular database. So I'll click on Reconnect, and what I will do is I will copy the data, the Notion page title. So this is the Notion page title, so I will copy this title. Once I add this to the setup, it will automatically add all the connected databases that we have at the bottom, and we'll be able to generate a PDF file smoothly after that. So I will select the right account which I'm using. So in my case, I'm using the PDF Output Workspace. This is the account which I'm using, and this is what is being reflected over here as well. Okay, so click on Select Pages, put the title inside the search pages field, and you should be able to see the tender contract dashboard populate over here. Once you click on this, you can see all the associated databases are also added up, and we can proceed further to generate a PDF file. So click on Allow Access, and now it will start connecting the Notion databases which we can use for setting up the automation. So let me name it as tender contracts 1, and let me click on Create. Also, one more interesting thing which I have not mentioned is if you are using multiple contracts on the same database for different vendors, you can also use this automation tool to create that. So let's say for these two vendors, we have one contract style, and for the middle vendor, we have a different contract style. So we can definitely do that as well. So you can add as many templates as you want for every particular vendor to this database, and it will still work with the automation system. So the contract database has been added up. So this is the contract database. And now if you observe, you should be able to see these three additional columns, okay, which it adds for us. One is the generate PDF column, PDF file, and Google Drive file. If you are marking any record as ready to generate, it will be converted to PDF and it is stored on the PDF file column. Okay, so make sure before you start automation process, you mark your records as ready to generate, whichever you're looking to convert to PDF. If you're storing any of the PDFs in a Google Drive folder, you can definitely do that. So if you mark any Google Drive folder, you should be able to see the link of the Google Drive directly inside the database. So let me select a document for this. If you already have a template file available, go with an existing template and you can select the template file that is already available on your drive. Make sure you have the ownership access of the template. Otherwise, if you have a shared access, automation will not function correctly. Okay, so you should have ownership access for this. I don't have any template available, so I will instead go with a blank document, and I will also show you how a demo document will work. So I'll click on continue, and let me rename this to something like tender document 1. Okay, now if you see, we have this Google document which is opened up over here, which we can edit live as per our requirement, and we can manually create all the properties directly inside this document. On the right side, you should be able to see all the Notion database properties loaded up over here. So every property that you find within this database that we have over here, these are all loaded up right side on the right side. Okay, so we can use this to create the PDFs. So let's say first of all I want to add the contract name. Okay, so I can just simply search for contract name over here. You can even search over here for contract name. It will show you the same. Click on copy. It will copy the contract name and paste it onto the document over here. Okay, so it automatically maps the property right inside the document. We can simply use Control V or Command V. It will automatically copy paste all the properties onto the document. So let's say I want to next add the contract ID as well. Okay, so I'll just copy the contract ID and I will put somewhere like ID, and I can map the document. So you can copy paste all the properties of the Notion database wherever you want inside the document, and here it will replace all the things from the database and it will generate the PDF file one by one. So now the next step is we can define how the PDF file will be named. So this documents I want to generate by the contract ID. Okay, so whatever ID I have in the database, it will create a PDF as per that. Let's click on download PDF, and it will soon start generating the PDF file right inside the database. And it will store under the PDF file column, which we can start to view. Okay, it also download the PDF onto the downloads directory, which is where you can see the files as well. Okay, once this works, what we can do is we can create an automation system by clicking on setup Notion automation, and that will also work the way we want to have it. Okay, so the first document is already out. Let's click on this and we should be able to see the first created document with all the values automatically mapped. So let's see the second document which it's generating. This is also correctly mapped, and it has also created the mappings as we need it. Okay, so we just created a sample template without much details going into this, but you can obviously play around and create your own template as you want to do it. Okay, so let me open up the third file. This is also correctly mapped. So we created three documents with the setup. Now what I want to do is I want to click on setup Notion automation. If I click on this, it will start generating the document directly within the database without even me coming back to PDF output ever again to generate the PDF. So if you will observe over here, it will add another property which is choose document. Okay, so if I click on this, you should be able to see the choose document property coming up over here. If you click on this, you should be able to see the document template which we have used. So if you're adding more document template, which I'll be showing in a while, you will be able to see all the options available in the drop down over here. Okay, so the next step is I want to create a PDF directly from the database, but before that, let me add another template. So you can see this automation is already live. Let me create another automation. So let's say this is tender contracts 2, and I'll click on create, and I will load the contracts database. So I'll just click on that, it will automatically load, and this time I will go with a demo document. Okay, so I'll just click on add demo document. It will create a new demo document, and meanwhile this will also load the database properties. Click on continue, and now you will be able to see it automatically creates for me all the placeholders whatever I will need. Okay, so let's retry it because we just added the database after we created demo document. So let's do tender contracts 2. We'll click on create. Let me load this database first of all, because if you do not load it, it will not be able to fetch the properties which we will need in the demo document. Okay, so let us wait as it is loading the properties. Now if you click on demo document and you click on continue, you should be able to see all the properties come up in the the template file over here. Okay, so here you should be able to see all the placeholders of the database populating over here, out of which I do not need this one. Okay, I need the rest of the things as well. So all the things are in place, and now I can simply start generating the PDF using this particular template. Okay, so what I will do is I will put contract, tender contract 2. This is my document, and I will simply click on setup motion automation. But before that, let me choose it to the contract name. Okay, so all my PDF will be named as per the contract name. Click on setup motion automation, and now you should be able to see the second automation document populate over here. Okay, so let's wait for a few seconds as it is going to do that, and then we should be able to see the contract name populate over here. So if you click on this, now you are able to see the two templates, right? The tender document 1, the tender contract 2. These are the two templates. So let's say I want to use the first template for the first record. I want to use second template for the second record. Again, I will use the first template of the third record. Okay. So now I can use different records with different templates, and I can generate. So I'm just going to simply turn it to ready to generate. It will automatically process the document and store under the PDF file column for us. This eliminates the necessity to go to PDF output again to create the PDF, as both automations are already running live on the same database with two different templates. Okay, and it will instantly process and it will save the PDF right inside this PDF file column, which we can view or you can process for any other purposes. So it takes a while to load the database with the PDFs when you are set it to ready to generate, because automation takes a while to load, but it will surely work. Okay. The best part is you can keep on adding more and more records. You can simply mark your records as ready to generate, and it will still perform the automation, and it will save the PDF directly within the database. Okay. So we're just waiting for a few minutes as it is going to convert these records into PDF file, and then we will see how the automation has created the PDF documents out of this entire setup. So you can prepare a dashboard or something like this, and you can see it has started processing the records which we had highlighted, and even completed the automation step. So let me open up the first document. You can see it has created this document which we had set up for the document number 1. Now we have tender contract 2, and it is coming with a different name, right? So if you click on this, it is showing me the template with a different name. And let me open up the last one. So the last one was first template which we had used, and the middle one was the second template which we had connected with. Okay, so we have created two different documents using two different templates. So this completes the entire demonstration, and we understood how we can generate the PDF directly from the Notion database, taking advantage of this automation solution. Obviously, you can create any stuff like invoices, any receipts, any proposals, agreements, whatever you wish to create, you can create from the Notion database directly. You can reach out to me at notionformyuse@gmail.com if you have any questions, or you can simply go to the home page and scroll down to the contact window, where you should be able to see a contact form which you can fill in and send me a message with all your queries. I'll be able to handle all the same for you. Okay, that's it for the demonstration. I hope the explanation was clear. If you need this dashboard,